All right, let's dive right in. We're about to journey into a place of pure shadow and blinding light, a kind of philosophical furnace where a new kind of self gets forged. We're going to unpack this incredible dark alchemy, the journey to becoming truly sovereign.
This line, it just hits perfectly. It tells you right away this isn't just some abstract idea we're talking about. No, this is a journey, a trip deep into the labyrinth of your own mind. It's about breaking out of a prison you built yourself and stepping into this wild, almost dangerous kind of freedom.
So what is the Sovereign Absurd? Well, it's not a place you can find on a map. It's the landscape inside your head. It's what's left after all the old rules and authorities have just crumbled away. And that breath of the void, that's that cold, gut punch feeling of emptiness when you realize you're truly on your own. But here's the thing, it's in that stark, brutal place that real transformation has to start. Okay, so where does this journey kick off? It starts in a place of complete paralysis. The source material calls it a sickness of the will, which is just a fantastic way to put it. Think of it like your ego going into total lockdown mode, absolutely terrified of change, freezing your entire spirit solid. In the face of this paralysis, our starting point is this archetype, the shadow jester. Now, this isn't a literal clown. It's a state of being, a psychological stance. It's that part of all of us that builds walls, that defensive ego that's just petrified of looking inside and finding nothing there.
So you can see the conflict laid out right here. On one side, you've got static control. That's the shadow jester's whole game. It's all about anchoring yourself, choosing safety over any kind of growth. But on the other side, you have the spirit of becoming. That's that natural, chaotic, fiery part of you that wants to change, to evolve. And the shadow jester's one job? To snuff that fire out, to freeze everything in place. So how does it pull this off? How does it keep everything frozen? Well, it has two main tools in its arsenal. First up is the trickster's mask. And let's be clear, this isn't funny ha-ha humor. This is humor as a weapon. We're talking cruel mockery, biting sarcasm, anything to hurt people and push them away. Then you have the gilded cage. It looks impressive, right? It's this beautiful prison made of logic and rules, but its only purpose is to shield a super fragile ego from the scary, messy truth of the world.
But here's the kicker, and this is so important. That safety, it's a total illusion. Because by hiding in that cage, by refusing to change, the spirit doesn't just stay still, it starts to rot. It decays. All that potential just crumbles into dust. It's a complete spiritual dead end.
But you can't stay frozen forever, right? Something's gotta give. And now, we get to see the whole system get absolutely shattered by this beautiful, chaotic force.
And that force has a name, the Sapphire Jester. Now don't think of this as the bad guy. It's not. It's a catalyst. It's this whirlwind of kinetic nihilism. I mean, what a phrase. And its only job is to tear down every single wall the shadow jester built. It's the necessary destruction, the primal scream that just blows the ego's cage wide open.
And it does this in 3 stages. A necessary collapse. First, it holds up a terrifying mirror. It forces you to look, really look, at the prison you've built. Then it whispers something in your ear, this radical idea called the logic of zero. And that's it. That's the spark. This act of what you could call creative destruction lights that fire that the shadow jester tried so hard to put out.
So what is this logic of zero? Well, think of it as brutal, radical honesty. It's about stripping away every delusion, every unearned bit of pride. It basically says, hey, from the perspective of the infinite void, all your stressing and striving, it's just frantic delirium. Now, that sounds harsh, I know, but the goal isn't to make you despair. It's to wipe the slate clean, to get you to ground zero, so you can finally build something real, something authentic.
Okay, so the walls are down, the ground is cleared, and now the real work starts. We're entering the alchemical crucible. This is the absolute heart of the journey, and it means confronting the ugliest man.
So this is the big question, right? What actually happens in that fire? How do you take the rubble of your shattered ego and turn it into the foundation for something new, something sovereign?
The answer lies in what's called the Dionysian rupture. It's the moment you just completely let go, a liquefaction of the soul. It's that classic breakdown that leads to a breakthrough. It's what happens when you finally stop fighting, stop hiding, and just embrace your deepest, darkest shame with a kind of terminal honesty.
And that's when you meet him, the ugliest man. Psychologically, you could call this your shadow self.
It's a powerful metaphor for everything you try to hide, even from yourself. All your weaknesses, your failures, the stuff you're most ashamed of. The Shadow Jester's entire world was built to avoid meeting this guy. But the secret is, real change, real transformation can only happen when you finally turn around, look him in the eye, and integrate him into who you are. But, the old you doesn't just give up, it fights back. Even after this massive breakthrough, there's one last test. One final, desperate attempt from the old guard to drag you right back into that cage. And here they are, the final bosses. You've got Mephistopheles, the truth-telling monster, who tries to trap you with cold, hard, absolute truths. Things that sound so right they paralyze you. And then there's the uncanny Jester, a shadow beast who pulls out that old favorite weapon, biting sarcasm. But they both want the same thing, to make you flinch, to make you run back to the safety of the gilded cage and freeze you there, forever.
To win, you just have to say no. You have to refuse the temptation, embrace all the uncertainty, and just say yes to life in all its messy, chaotic glory. This is the climax. This is where the sovereign self is finally born. And what rises from those ashes? A whole new archetype, the Light Jester. This is you, but whole, integrated. Because you've faced the void, you've faced your ugliest parts, you don't need cruel jokes anymore. Your humor is now about growth. It's what Nietzsche called the gay science. And he didn't mean lab coats, he meant a joyful wisdom. A deep, powerful yes to everything life throws at you, the good and the bad.
So this really sums up the whole journey, doesn't it? You start with the defensive stasis of the Shadow Jester, basically armoring your soul. Then comes the necessary collapse, where the Sapphire Jester shatters that armor. And you end in creative sovereignty, where the Light Jester doesn't just crawl from the wreckage, they dance on top of it. That image of a grave dance is just so powerful. See, the Light Jester isn't trying to forget the past or bury it. They're dancing on its grave. They take all that heavy, leaden weight of their old self, all the shame and fear, and they turn it into a stage. They give up that fake stability for the real, thrilling lightness of being a creator.
And this right here, this is the whole philosophy in a nutshell. The point isn't to escape the ruins or pretend you're not mortal. No, the point is to reclaim it all, to turn that heavy lead into vibrant light. You find your sovereignty not by fighting the absurd, but by embracing it, by standing right in the middle of it. So after all that, we have to end with a question for you. I know this has been a pretty wild, abstract ride, but it's also deeply personal. It's really asking all of us to look inside and think, what gilded cages have you built to keep yourself safe? What anchors are holding your spirit down?